My name's Stuart William Morris, and thanks very much for logging on to the website. I just wanted to introduce myself and tell you a little bit about why spiritual healing and how it came about. So I'm 60 now, and when I was 26, I became ill. I had a form of cancer. Before that, I was a market lad and a builder. And then this illness came and changed my life. On the back of that, I started to go for healing sessions to a spiritual healer. I had surgery and tumour removed and radiotherapy, but alongside that went into lots of different holistic therapies. Part of that really became my motivation to get well. My motivation to get well was to see if I could help other people, which I've been doing really since the age of about 30. So for nearly 30 years, after I gained diplomas in hypnotherapy and reflexology and NLP and EFT, all these kind of modalities that really helped me. But I began really with spiritual healing. My granddad was a great healer. He was a very quiet man. I never knew him, but Mum said he was a humble man. He used to have this corn on his hand, and he would lay his hands on people and say the pain would go into the corn. So I guess there were heritage really with spiritual healing in that respect. But certainly what happened with me led me into spiritual healing and all the holistics, and then eventually I opened up my own natural health centre. But then in 2017, my life changed again. And kind of some things happen in our life, like everybody's life, I suppose, really, that at face value they seem terrible. But this was the first thing that I can remember, apart from my kids, that came into my life in a good way that changed my life. So in 2017, I went to a spiritualist church. My wife's a medium, and she said, "Come along, let's go." And I kind of give them a wide berth for years, really, on and off. I didn't like the way they were run, not all of them, but a lot of them. There's a lot of hierarchy, and I don't know, it just didn't feel very spiritual, really, I suppose. Anyway, I went to this one, and in Birmingham, and I sat there at the back of the church after the service, minding my own business. And this lady came up to me who said her and her husband had ran the church for 50, 60 years. And she said, "Have you ever heard of the great healer, Harry Edwards?" I said, "I have. I don't know anything about him." And I didn't know anything about him. She said, "Well, he gave me 2 books and signed them both 40 years ago. And I want to give you one of the books." I thought, why would somebody just meet me and want to give me one of the books? It played with my head a little bit, to be honest with you. So as I got home, I researched Harry Edwards and see they had an open day, and so in Surrey, so in Birmingham. So I thought I'll go and have a look. I need a sign of thunderbolts, some angels to tell me, this is the right thing for me. I had this calling to go, but I didn't quite want to do any more courses. I'd had my fill. So driving down to Surrey, past London, it's a bit of a nightmare anyway, and on the motorways, I didn't enjoy it. So I'm having a rant, 2.5 hours in. Why the friggin' hell would you want to put a sanctuary in the middle of nowhere? And I was having a conversation with something, ranting. So 3 hours in, I've arrived. I looked around the open day, and it just wasn't doing it for me. There was no thunderbolt, no angels, no chorus, nothing. I thought, well, that's it. I ain't going to do it. I'm going to go home. And on the way out, I spoke to the receptionist, and I told her, "Look, I've got this opportunity to train to be a healer, Harry Edwards, but I don't know." She said, "Walk round the back. That's where Harry Edwards used to walk, down Cherry Tree Walk, and just take a moment down there." So I did that. I walked along Cherry Tree Walk, and I sat on this bench and closed my eyes, and I heard a voice. And the voice said, "You asked a stupid question." And I opened my eyes and I saw this beautiful view. Now remember, I had a rant. Why would you want to put this place in the middle of nowhere? And the answer was so simple and so profound that it made me just stop in my tracks. Now this voice, if you like, I've heard maybe 6 times since I was about seven years old, different times in my life, and I recognised it as the same voice. Sounds a bit bizarre, I know, but I swear to God, it's the God's honest truth. So, on the back of that, I enrolled for Harry Edwards to do the 2-year healing course. And on the first day, we're all gathered round, and introducing ourselves, the whole group. And I looked, there was a plaque on the wall with Harry Edwards. And I looked at the plaque, closed my eyes, and I asked the question, what's spiritual healing? And then this dialogue came through, because I had a notepad, we all had notepads. I started to write the dialogue down as it came through. And this explanation came about what spiritual healing is. And I wrote it down and looked at it, thought, that's quite amazing. And then the dialogue continued. And in fact, it's never stopped. And that dialogue became a book that you can get on the website in the company of Harry. And on the back of that, I began, only last year, to run some workshops, which I really enjoyed, and then a retreat, just to see if the dialogue, which was almost like giving me information, could be turned into something else. And I really loved it, and the students who've come on and stepped onto it really enjoyed it. So long may it continue. So during that time with Harry Edwards, I never read a book. Purposely, I never read a single book. So why now? Why develop the course now, and why this spiritual healing website? Well, about 3 or 4 weeks ago, I do a little meditation with Harry Edwards every couple of weeks, like a live link. And so I looked on eBay and I saw this old magazine, and there was an article in there about Harry Edwards. I thought, well, I'll have a look at that. Maybe I can use it in one of the, the talks that I do, meditations. So when I looked at it, I saw somebody had recorded an audio. They recorded a conversation with Harry. He was giving this talk about spiritual healing and so forth. And they must have recorded it on tape, because it was at least 50 to 60 years old. And they put it onto a CD. I thought, well, I get that. I'll have a listen, because I want to get some more information now, apart from what I've already got, which is from source. I thought, if I'm going to develop the course, which I wanted to, I'll have a look. Now, the honest truth is, and here's the honest truth, with the book, I just thought, sometimes, did I make that up? Kind of all these different questions. Was it me? Was it someone else? That's the God's honest truth. But when you get the book and you listen to the audio, you can clearly tell that there's two different dialogues going on. But genuinely, all honesty, obviously there's been these doubts in my own mind. Did I make it up? Da 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 da. Anyway, this magazine come, and then the audio come. We're in March now, so it was in February. So I'm working here at the centre, and about 9 o'clock I was driving home, and I thought, well, I'll have a listen to that audio. So I put this audio on, and I want to play you something if I can. I hope you can actually pick up. So imagine driving home, and I've got this audio on, and I'm going to play you this now. So there's a line in the book which I wrote. So this part of that initial conversation in 2017, I'm talking to Harry, and I'm asking him questions about what's spiritual healing. And part of that dialogue came back, and he said this: with the healing of the incurable, an intelligence superior to human wisdom enters into the picture who knows the way to human wisdom. Okay, so that quote was from the very first day. So when I'm listening to this audio 3 weeks ago of Harry,
the logical conclusion that every healing must be a planned act, intelligently directed. With the healing of the incurable, an intelligence superior to human wisdom enters into the picture.
So I actually had to pull over to the side of the road because I couldn't believe what I'd heard. How did I access that information? So I was asking for confirmation. Should I be doing this spiritual healing diploma? Should I bring this information to the fore more and more? And that genuinely confirmed something in me, because honestly, I had no access to that information. The only access I could have had was on that day when I started to write. What did it mean to me? It confirmed I was talking to Harry. Now, Harry's not just Harry Edwards, it's a collective consciousness. And if you get the book, you'll understand a little bit more. But certainly, for me, it was Harry Edwards and is Harry Edwards. And then I went to Glastonbury a couple of weeks ago because, again, I still needed the confirmation. And I went for a reading just this in Glastonbury. Didn't plan to. I just wanted to go there to clear my head. And I went for this reading. This reader held my hands. He said, "You're a natural healer." And he talked some more and he said, "Harry wants you to do this." Okay. Otherwise, he said, he'd be like, "Well, thanks very much, Harry." And I got that, to be honest with you. And so I hope to bring Harry to life, if you like, through the teachings that he gave me, so I can pass them on to you. They're open to your own interpretation, the same as me. But spiritual healing is the most wonderful, beautiful, natural, energetic healing I've ever experienced, to be honest with you. Harry said it's not special. The specialness comes from the acceptance that it's not special. And the purpose of spiritual healing is to show us that we're akin to these divine energies. That's a continuation of life. Anyway, so I'm starting to write the diploma course up now on the back of the book, and I'm using that as a template. But I wanted to explain to you that this is where this information's come from. It's not diluted, it's come from source, and it's pure. And it's, well, I think it's beautiful, to be honest with you. The philosophy in the book, you could read the book in less than an hour and a half, but it's not meant to be read like that. It's meant to be pondered on and thought-provoking, and there's exercises in there that he gave me to do that I'm going to put into the course itself. So if you're interested, then please do get in touch with me, because I'd really like to share this with you. And what's more, Harry would like to share it with you. So I'm a great believer in those synchronicities and coincidences which I've followed all my life. So if you're looking at this and you stayed the distance with this video, then, and it perks something up in you, you hear truth differently, don't you? And so if you hear something and it has a resonance for you, then please contact me either for some healing, or if you're interested in, taking it further to the diploma, then please do join us, and let's create something really good. God bless.